over time is what private industry and the economy, what government, what communities are crying out. And so if I had to distill it, would it be about Massachusetts or just general?
General.
Think big, long, and make it happen.
And I think that's a great...
Of the court's, Supreme Court's decision in the, is it Dodds? Is that the name of the case? In the Dodds. Well, first of all, I think that the leak itself, though precedented, is very, very rare, and it is damaging to the court. It's damaging to the project. It's interesting because, you know, we think of transparency as a good thing in most settings, but not when it comes to the Supreme Court. And I can talk more about that. But as a lawyer and again as a citizen, I think there needs to be room for them to work it out. And this makes it harder for them to work it out. But I will say on the substance, I am alarmed but not surprised, if that makes any sense. Because this has been, you know, this has been part of the agenda. I mean, I think the thing that is so mind-blowing is that members of the Senate Judiciary have been lied to over and over again for decades, and they didn't know it. All the rest of us knew it, but the virulence of the opinion and the flaws in the analysis, legal and historic, really do point to just how political a decision this is. And I should add, how many people in this room were not alive in 1973 when Roe was decided? Yeah, so you don't know what it was like. You know, my mother had 2 of those back alley abortions on the south side of Chicago. When you think about what you'd do if you need it, you probably think, well, I'd get a plane ticket and fly to someplace. That is not an option for a whole lot of people. And the ability to, so for me, look, I'm not pro-abortion. I am pro-choice. That's not the same thing. There are some things that government does well, and some things it does profoundly poorly. And making decisions about the most intimate, personal decisions in individual and family lives and in faith choices is one of the things government does poorly. So I think the decision is terrible. And I think the decision is ominous. Because if the reasoning stands, it points to a whole bunch of other things that we have taken for granted, that we thought were settled matters, that are very, very threatening to me and people I love, and I bet to you and some of you love as well. So, you know, folks have been saying for the longest time, mostly on the right, elections have consequences. And if you want a different consequence, you gotta show up. I would say to everybody, no matter what your political persuasion on this and others, elections have consequences. Make a plan right now for when and how you're going to vote, and get 5 others to do the same. 10 years, maybe longer before all this that we're talking about got going. Now, I think we still have, but that began to turn around. By the way, another connected point. 98.5% of the people who live in Massachusetts have insurance. We were the first in the nation to do that. Governor Romney signed the bill that took effect the day we took office. That was, I met people who said I was working, I have a young family, I'm trying to start a company, I moved here and into the, Cambridge Innovation Center, or they were part of Mass Challenge, because I knew I could focus on that and my kids would be covered. It's all, in people's lives, it's all connected. The unified curriculum issue for, who's here from community colleges? I see you. So you may remember this. When we proposed that the community colleges take a bigger role in certification and worker preparation, it kind of landed like a ton of bricks first. Many of the community colleges were already doing it, and the problem I think was more that it felt like a surprise, right? We hadn't really consulted with but they got it. I mean, many, as I say, were already doing it. What they resisted, and rightly, is being thought of as just turning the whole system into a vocational system. And that's an easy point for me to understand, because I don't think that the only purpose of education is to prepare employees. I think it's to prepare citizens. And there's a lot of dimensions to that. I think as folks have gotten more of a mojo around, that's a policy technical term, around